Here with the Digital Digest, and today I'm sharing a video that's quite different, not only because, well, I'm on camera rather than behind it, but also I'm on vacation, finally getting my first trip to relax since major surgery. And well, that's not what today's video is about. It's all about Insta360, because many of you know in the last few weeks Insta has come under fire for some toxic relations with influencers, YouTubers, and reviewers. And so this video is, well, about my relationship, because it just began with Insta360. They just sent me the Ace Pro a little while back, along with the GPS monitoring watch, and one of these guys, the Manispod tripods for the Ace Pro. And the reason I'm speaking to this is, well, not to confirm or support any other YouTubers that are coming out about having problems with Insta360, but just to share my own experience, which has been thankfully a good one. Granted, it's my first collaboration with them, but all they were looking for was a review. This is not sponsored content. Sure, every manufacturer, would like you to do certain things, but I think they also understand that when you can offer them an audience, like I can, and many other YouTubers can, they either want to work with you or they don't. Now, if they sponsor your content, then of course they're going to have certain requirements they're looking for, and that should be totally understandable, because you're exchanging money. They're paying you for a service, not just, doing your thing, so to speak. Now, in my case, this is not sponsored content. I'm here to tell you that doesn't mean there will never be a sponsored piece of content from Insta360. I don't do a lot of sponsored content. If you follow my channel, you know the last review that I did that was sponsored was from Lenovo and Intel, a Legion laptop. And the reason that was a great collaboration was because it was a laptop I loved, and there's no better thing than being able to recommend a product that I know is fantastic and that I actually can stand behind, and getting paid for it. Who wouldn't like that opportunity? It's a win-win for everyone. But I am not prone to taking sponsorships just to pay the bills, because inherently I studied journalism under someone that I greatly respect. He's no longer with us, Joseph Dembo. He ran CBS News. But without digressing too much, I do operate with the ethical standards that I would have if I was in a newsroom right now. Now, that's not something you're going to get from really the majority of YouTubers, even those who are trying to be news outlets, because they aren't necessarily students of journalism, but rather talking heads. And I don't want to get into that too much, but I did, of course, want to speak to my relationship with Insta360. Again, just to let all of you know, nothing underhanded or salacious is going on, at least from the rep I've been in contact with. They're just looking for me to cover their products. And if down the road they do want to sponsor content, I can assure you I will always be transparent about that sponsorship, as I have throughout the course of my 10 plus years of doing this full time. Now, a lot of manufacturers out there contact me on a daily basis. Some are known, some are unknown, and they're looking for me to do things for them without even sponsorship. So this doesn't surprise me. I'm not saying about Insta360, but just the trend of doing underhanded things, because I'm not here to tell you that Insta360 has done something underhanded. We'll leave that to the people that are accusing them. And I'm not saying they're being dishonest. I'm just not going to contribute to rumors or anything like that I'm not part of that. I can only speak to my own experience, which is singular with the Ace Pro, and so far so good. But what I can assure you is that if things ever did take a turn, towards the stories that I have heard on YouTube, like all of you, because I haven't been in contact with any other influencers, I don't really collaborate with anybody else. If things ever were to take a turn like that, I can assure you that content would never be on my channel. So that's not something any of you have to worry about. And one other thing I will tell you, which you may have heard from your parents or grandparents, is that if anybody ever has to tell you in all honesty or honestly, that should be a red flag. It doesn't mean that they're a liar, but contextually, that is always concerning to me. And I'm pretty sure that is not something you'll ever hear on my channel. I'm not saying I've never said it in over 2,000 pieces of content, but it's incredibly rare to hear me say something like that, because I do pride myself in being honest always, which means I don't have to worry about reiterating that I'm not lying. But with that said, again, my relationship with Insta right now is exactly what it should be. And if the day comes that they want to pay me for coverage, I can assure you it won't be to lie to any of you, because that is not something I will ever do for a price. The birth of this channel was totally organic. The coverage of products is totally organic. And the way my relationship has now come to be with Insta, again, is organic. They saw that I was covering their products that I bought with my own money. I reached out to them. They ignored me. They finally came to the door. And that's kind of the way, that makes me smile, because that's part of what I do. And what I love about what I do is when manufacturers that I think are making great products and that I support as a consumer eventually come to me and say, Ed, we want you to cover our stuff. Well, that's kind of the epitome of why I do what I do, but of course, while being able to maintain all of my journalistic integrity. And the moment that any of that would be put in jeopardy would be the moment I would no longer be involved with this platform. And that's a very big problem for YouTube and other social media platforms when it comes to disinformation and spreading conspiracy theories and things of that nature. But that's not what today's video is about. It's just about reaffirming to all of you that my relationship with Insta360, even though it's just begun, is fortunately a transparent one. And again, there's a reason YouTube tells all YouTubers when they upload that they must state whether or not they've been compensated per FTC regulations. And that's because, 99% of YouTubers, and I am pulling that number out of my butt, are not students of journalism. They are not people who are operating necessarily with integrity or care about what information they're disseminating. I've seen many of people that I don't like to call my peers, but are technically my peers, do things that I knew were underhanded. I knew they were lying. For example, saying a certain camera doesn't overheat. When they had to pull content down, their lie was not only exposed, but validated. And again, I'm not here to name names. I'm just here to let all of you know that the content you see on my channel will remain the same, regardless of whether sponsored or not. Integrity will always be part of what I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here, because I am a student of journalism. And, my professor I mentioned earlier told me I'd never report the news, and, he was right, but not for the reasons that he mentioned. And that's a video for another time if anyone is ever interested. But thanks for watching. I'm going to go back to my vacation now and hopefully just try to get rest, since that's my job for a full 18 months post-op. But any questions, feel free to post them. As usual, I'll do my best to respond, and I hope this finds all of you well. And just remember, just because you're watching something and a person seems legitimate or has the right background or the right clothing, certainly doesn't make it legitimate or true. But that's it. I will see you all in the next review.